Hey everyone, it's Wednesday. Wednesday? No, it's not Wednesday. How could it be Wednesday? It's Friday. Jeez, I'm muddled. Not even sure what date it is. Friday the 23rd, would it be? Yeah, I saw it's Friday the 23rd of January. But there's Dennis. I'm going to drive down through Ballyhob here. I just said I'd fire on the old video there so we can be chatting away. I'm on my way north to Bantry there because I've one 40-foot container and then I've half of another 40-foot container rented, storage containers, you know, shipping containers rented out, and I'm going north now because I'm at my shed, the shed on the side. I got a shed there, a steel shed on my site at Western Skull, where I'm hoping to build a house eventually. And the shed went up and was finished yesterday. And a big shout out while I'm at it, a big shout out to A1 sheds there in Bishopstown, Cork. They're on the way down on the left, A1, Alpha 1. And Aidan is the man, and Jordan is the lady there in the office and stuff, and I was absolutely delighted. I had a brilliant, lovely experience with them, and got a fantastic shed at a really good price, definitely. And again, I'm not getting anything from those people. I'm just praising the bridges I cross it. They are a small enough business, I'd say, like a family-run business from what I can gather, and family-run businesses are as close to my heart. So yeah, big shout out A1 sheds there in Cork. But anyway, the shed is up and I must go north now because I need to start emptying these containers again, because obviously I'm paying money, paying rent, of course, to keep stuff in them. So the plan is by the middle of next week to get the half a container, we say empty, because in there I've all the shelving and a lot of tools and gear and stuff in there. That'll be the first thing that'll go into my new shed anyway. No, I was just kind of half thinking to myself there now. I've been saying all along that I'm going to downsize now. You know, the amount of stuff I carry with me is frightening, the amount of stuff I've collected over the time. Now I have sold a lot of it off there cheap in the last while, but there's still an awful lot of more stuff to go, because if I run all this over to my shed now, I won't be able to get into the shed to be stacked to the side of the ceiling, and I want to be able to get in. And I suppose going forward in my life now, my plan is to kind of live with a lot less stuff. I still have a lot of stuff, but less than what I have, if you understand me. But the problem is, what do you it's fogging up now. What do you like? I've been carrying stuff. I'm a sight God for. I love, you know, objects, and I believe so much that I believe in the story, the object, and everything. I get attached to stuff, and I have an awful lot of stuff that when I cleared out my mum and dad's house, especially for my dad's stuff, you know, going back to the days when we had the boat called the Mary Joseph back in the early when I was born. And I have lots of bits and pieces out of her, and lots of kind of stuff related to fishing and boats, nautical. And again, it's of no monetary value, only that it kind of holds sentimental value to me. I don't know how many sets of oars I have for rowing. And I was just thinking, like I've always said, now when I make this move now, I can't take all this stuff all the way back now to Lortown and put it into a freaking shed. Because I've been trying to mind it all my life, and the reality is for my kids, they have no interest in it. And it needs to be kind of, I'm going to have to let go. And that was fine all along to be saying it. But now the realisation that, yeah, the time is now. I certainly need to get out of the half container so I don't have to pay the rent there by the middle of next week. I just pay up the rent to that. And then the big container, if I'm being realistic, there's so much going on back in between Barnett's and my other shop and everything. I can't be everywhere, so I'm going to give myself I was hoping to be out of the big container as well by certainly the end of February, but I'm going to give myself a small bit of a breather now and say if I could get out by May, by say even, I don't know, the middle of May or something, and take my time to sort it north in the container, give away what I can, dump the rest, and take with me, I suppose, less. And even at that, I'd still have a lot of stuff, because there's an awful lot of tools and gear and stuff I have that I'm going to have to keep, because I have to build another house at some stage, and I'm going to need a lot of that, for I'm kind of Mr. DIY, so I like to get stuck into a lot of things, so I'll keep those things, but but then, yeah, sorry, I'm rambling, but yeah, just, I've loads of stuff out of boats that my dad had over the time, and oars. I'm going to keep one set of oars, a set of oars that my first cousin John Pyburn made in Hare Island, and my dad didn't dipping them in creosote, and he would have done the, what are they called, the elbows, I can't, with the leather, and the brass tacks, the centre of the oar that goes through the oarlock, and the bands, then the band then at the end of the oar and stuff. My dad did all that, so I'll keep that. But there's a lot of old, sure, I have everything. I have the battery box out of the Mary Joseph, and then I have this plastic box that are kind of a container which keep the old rusty tools in and stuff. And I have so many things. I've a huge rope, God almighty, of a rope to that thick, nylon rope, braided nylon rope. But I have a friend, a very good friend, who was friends with my dad, and I know my dad would want that to go to him. I don't know what I was keeping that for, sure that it half filled the van as it is. That's for a boat, a big boat. I'm going to give that to a friend that I know my dad would like that to go to. And I'm just trying to go through stuff in my head now. What am I going to do with it? Oh, I have the, crikey, I have a lovely, it is to be inside the hall stand. It was in our little sitting room actually in South Terrace. That's the phone, you put the telephone and a seat. It's a telephone seat, would you call it that? The telephone will be here next to you, and a little seat where you'd sit down and you'd take the telephone call. And then afterwards I went up to Ardmana Drive, and it was in the hall above in number 4 in Ardmana Drive. I kind of kept that. I was hoping I was going to do that up and put it into the house, but I'd take it to Lower Town now. That was my mum, you see, she was as proud of that as you could be. Just made it teak, and crikey, just a grand. It is a lovely job. Only it needs a little bit of work, because it got a bit of damage to it, and it was varnished. Originally I got a notion I was going to paint it, and I will too. I'll paint it. I don't think I'll stain it back again, because I'm not a dark stained furniture person. I don't like it at all. So that's a bit hard, really. I suppose maybe some bits I do, but I wouldn't. No, I'd like to maybe do something with that. So when I get the bungalow built, that would be a part of the bungalow inside the hall or something. Take a bit of my mum with me and a bit of my dad. But I have a lot more stuff. I can't take everything. And in fairness, when I was emptying out number 4, the bungalow, I was their house. I was ruthless that time, but you still keep stuff. You keep an awful lot of stuff. And I'm going to have to downsize all that, because I want to buy more stuff as I go along again, I suppose. And it'd be nice now to have the shed. My shed, like, to have a bit of room inside it. Just like to God, I had tried this shed, and we're above an Ardclara. I had a 6 by 4 metre shed. I couldn't get into it. And I had an 8 by 5 metre garage. Now there was a lift in the middle of that for my Mark 1 Ford Escort. But God knows, that shed or that garage was well full too. So I'd like a little workbench now, because obviously I'm living in Barnett's and I have nowhere to do stuff, and for my mental health, if nothing else, I really like in the evenings there, even if you only had an hour, if I could be able to go west now to my little shed, and there put on the light and put on the radio, put on the wireless, and have and do a few little jobs. I have a lot of little projects like that. I keep telling myself, I know that I'm pressing buttons, and that I'm gonna do, which for fuck's sake, I was hoping to get around to them, but anyway, the things like the fellow said, things went upside down. So I'm taking them with me now, and I'm gonna do them in Longtown. Few projects. I have a couple of really, like, I'm not gonna tell you what they are. I'll show them to you sometime. Things that'll make really cool light boxes. You know the way I make light boxes, but they're original signs, and they look fucking gorgeous inside in a light box. Need to try and get around to all of that. And before I leave this earth, I really do. There's a few, and I mean, I don't have a huge amount, but I have about 9 or 10 more light boxes that I want to make up. I really do want to make, and I get all excited about making them. And they'll be the coolest thing ever when they're made. And I will offer them for sale when the time comes too. But yeah, those kind of things. If we could ever make fucking time for that stuff. So my plan is in here to get this shed set up in such a way that it's not full to the bollocks and stuff. There's a toilet going into the corner of the shed, a nice toilet, and electricity. Do you know what? A kettle there and a cup of tea. Somebody in my neighbours actually lives that place, and they're going to giving me a small little fridge. They're renting the place at the moment. They'll be moving out. There'll be a small little fridge for the garage to be ideal for a drop of milk or for my shed. And yeah, that's what I'm at. So first of all, I have shelving and racking and stuff inside here. Take that out of there. That's a good bit of stuff. And tools and gear. Empty the half container first. Work begun is half done. Even though it's cold and half wet here now. And you know, it is hard to motivate yourself sometimes. I know how much stuff I'm after. I drew all this north here a few years ago, filled the containers, drew it all back to Skull, and fuck's sake, 6 months later, or whatever it was, a year later, less than a year, took it all back out, drew it all back north again. So you get weary. Here I am now again moving it. But Jesus, I can tell you this will be its last moments. And I mean that. Oh, I get too old for this. And I have a load of stuff in Barnett's because we're doing the stock clearance shop across the road. I'm trying to process all that stuff and get it priced and get it over. And there's a lot of stuff because there's five other ideas going on in my head about Barnett's and what I'm going to do with it. Try and navigate through that as well. A lot going on, but the upside of that is that I'm busy, it keeps me busy. And Jesus, when you're going through something, there's nothing better than being busy. Because I often think, Sarah, about, and I'm talking about men now, and I know women go through a lot through when they go through divorce and stuff. But what would it be like? And you could see how people get very, very low, like. If you were sitting in, like I'm sitting in effectively a small flat, it's not a bedsit thankfully, small, it's a flat, an apartment if you want to call it that, and it's a really nice place I'm living in, and I have everything, but I'm busy. If I had no job and I had no stuff to just that I have, like there's mornings I don't feel like doing things, there's mornings I don't feel like getting out of bed, but I have to, because there's one shop now that'll be, if I get Barnes up and running again, I have 2 shops going again, and then I have all of this going on, and I'm trying to do something west on the site and set up the workshop and move all the stuff out of the container, and I'm doing an awful lot of it on my own, which is fine because I can't afford really to pay anyone anyway, but I try to do it myself and it doesn't matter. In fairness, I have Amy Lou's boyfriend there, Fionn, he's brilliant, he's very good to me. He's a great help. Time I need him, he's there. But I try to not, like the fella say, overstep the mark there either. Outstay my welcome. But but I'm busy. Every day I'm busy. 7 days. I'm opening the small shop now, even on Sunday, because sure, what else to be fucking doing? And I'm not drinking. I haven't taken to the drink at all because Jesus, that would be the last word. I did that in my younger years. Things went to shit in my life as well. But I don't know. I suppose it's 30 years ago. I went to Christ. And sure, we were young that time. Sure, we took to the drink and the drugs. And God knows, and I can tell you, they were fine. fucking word to, you know. But this time round, we take a different approach. And I'm 56, my next birthday now. God knows if I fell into the bottle, I might never come out of it. And I still enjoy the odd drink, but God knows it's just very rare. And don't get me wrong, a day will come I go out for a few drinks again, but that's when everything in my life will be, hopefully, will come right again. If things will settle down again, and we'll get back out to all that. But I got way off track now. I'm after landing in Bantry now, so that kept me. I was able to talk to you know all the way north, and fucking shitty old day here now. Just fair day here, being Friday, but sure I suppose there ain't much happening. I just come north to the square there a lot. I have a lot of friends there in the square that'll be selling the antiques and stuff. And geez, there's no one there today. Didn't show up at all, of course, the rain. Billy is there, alright, the man that'll be selling the stuff out of the lorry, but I can't see anyone else there. It's just the way it is, really. There's hardly no one in the square. Sure, it is January too. It's hard for them lads to come up and stand there all day. But I don't know at all, silly. Where I used to go, but I don't come in there anymore because my business has gone away down a different route now. I come the odd day for a look, but I try. See, the problem is when I come north, I would buy, like, for me to come north there now to cost me at least €50 because I'd be mad. I can't not buy when I see stuff like that, and I don't have any real outlet for it now and things. So the just misting and wet and cold nose. I'm gonna have a go at it anyway. I definitely going to fill the van and take stuff, because like I say, work, if I can make a start here, work begun will be half done. I'm looking forward now. I only see my shed last night in the dark, well, with a flash lamp, so I'm looking forward to seeing it now today in the daylight. Let's get back as quick as I can with this stuff. It's 9:15 now. I was up this morning early, had a good long walk, and then I went back, had a breakfast, a few slices of toast with marmalade, a quick breakfast, cup of tea. It's hard to beat a cup of tea. And I drink Lyons' tea. Would nearly be shot in Cork for saying that. But I prefer Lyons' to Barry's, which I drink Barry's tea too, but given choice I drink Lyons'. The ordinary, the green box, whatever it is. My mother used to like Lyons' tea too, it's strange, isn't it? Frishen unducus fahul as an quit. Nature will break out in the eye of a cat. You know? And I'm proud to be like my mother in a lot of ways. In the ways I am, because my mother was a lovely woman. And what was I saying there now? Yeah, I must get back now as quick as I can. Jeez, there's a lot of work to do there in Barnes now. There's work done now today, and I'm in the shop then, the little shop tomorrow and Sunday. I'll have Stormzy. I'm thinking, I'll take Stormzy. I'd probably see come north tomorrow morning early here. I'll have to get north. I'll have to leave school in the morning about 7:30 and get north here at 8 o'clock. I have a light there and put another load into the van, and then get back to Skull. I'll have to be back to Skull for 9:30 to open my little shop. And then tomorrow night, my closest shop, I can take it west to Lordtown in the dark, put it into the garage. That'll be 2 loads. Because you wouldn't carry much in the van, the kind of stuff I'm having there now, it's just racking and shelving and stuff. Believe me, you wouldn't put much of it into the van, for it is complete. Like, I tried to fucking take it out complete, put it in complete, because trying to assemble that stuff takes forever, that metal shelving. So when I get into the 40-foot container then that I have, the other one, that's the hot boxes and crates you put a pile of stuff into the van then, even though there's fucking, I swear to God, there's 10 loads inside in that. At least. Oh God save us, there is. And I suppose there's in this half a container that I have now, there's definitely 4 or 5 loads to get out of it, because sure, I can't remember. It's so much stuff in. I can't remember what's there myself. Anyway, we'll make a start. So if I got one load now today and another load tomorrow morning early, I'll have to do it tomorrow morning early. And then I'll have Stormzy, my little dog, tomorrow night. He'll come for the sleepover. I guess I feel like it when he comes to me. And so Wednesday or Sunday morning, then I leave it alone. I won't come north Sunday morning. But what I will try to do is, because I take him for a walk, you see, spend time with him, and he'll come to the shop with me on Sunday. And when Stormzy goes back then home up to Ardmanna Drive on Sunday, I might come north again for another load here. That is the plan anyway. Sure, must have a plan. And like I said, try and get out here by next week, and that way then I will only be paying rent on the big container. And sure, it's not all about the money either. It's only, but you need something to motivate yourself and drive yourself to get things done. Get all this done now, because Trish, there's a lot of work coming down the line. I'm flat to the mat. I can quite safely say from now until the end of April, if 7 days I'll be flat. I've so much to do, like. And then from the end of April on, sure, if things go according to plan, if they go according to plan, I'll have the 2 shops up and running. And then that's 7 days a week anyway, regardless for me, right through until the middle of September. And I'm planning a little holiday in September then. Myself and Pat Coakley, we were talking last night about it. I was in with Pat last night for an Indian. We were saying that hopefully we're going to go to Krakow in Krakow, whatever they call it in Poland. You can get direct flight out to Shannon. The plan is to go there for in September for a holiday. It's a beautiful city, Poland is a lovely country. God almighty, if you haven't been, put it on your list. That's all I can tell you. Poland is a beautiful country. The people and the food and the architecture and oh my God, and it's the safe. Krakow, I was there before. It is the safest part of the country or wherever in all the world. It is just beautiful. Everything about it is stunning, yeah. I'm telling you that now. Put that on your list. If you have not been to Poland, put it on your list. That's my advice. I'll end with that, and I'm here now, so I need to get stuck into this. And thanks if you stayed with me. We'll make another video now again. We'll sometime, and we'll post that. Talks. The thirst of me killed. That's the way we'd say it. I did an Indian last night with my old friend Pat Coakley in Skibbereen. And I love the Indian food, but you want a lot of water after it. That's finished. I'm after loading the van there now. And I said I'd talk to you again. If you want to talk to me. The lock that I have on the second container, I'm very lucky the 2 containers are next to each other there. And when I went into it now and realised the amount of stuff I kept. Do you know, I'd be forever buying tools and gear and stuff. I hate throwing that stuff away. Even though when I moved out of Ardclara, it was a real mountain that time. And when we moved out, and I sold and gave away an awful lot of tools and gear that I'd have for working on cars and stuff. That, you know, there comes a stage in your life when you realise that you know, and it's when you're younger and you look ahead and you see older people and you go, oh my God, it's so sad, you know, he's not going to work on cars anymore, you know. As people get older, they do different things, and I wonder, does he miss working on the cars and stuff? Because cars and mechanical stuff was such a big part of my life for so long. I used to absolutely love it. Oh, I used to love it. You know, just the whole thing, mechanicking, fixing cars. And I don't know, slowly but surely, I just kind of fell out of love with it, in the sense that, I don't know, I just stopped. I don't even change. Well, I do very little to my own car now, even. It's so strange. I have still quite a lot of tools and gear, but nothing like I had. And so when I left Arclara, that was like a cleansing, I suppose, a kind of an acceptance, a realization that I was leaving that life behind me, and I was moving on to something else. I mean, I'm in the fashion clothes business right now. Can you get your head around that? Because I can't. I went off when I left the NCT and stuff, and we were in Barnett's, and then I went off doing my own thing. When I left, left the cars behind me. You see, what finished me with the cars really was Brexit. When Brexit came along, myself and Pat were no longer able to bring the cars in from the United Kingdom, and Brexit destroyed that business overnight. And then you see, when you were that kind of more or less, the whole thing went in, because we were importing cars and working on them. There was always work to be done, and trading in cars, and work. Your whole life is about cars and stuff, and I really loved that part of my life. If I could rewind 20 years and go back to that, or even 30 years, I had my own little garage repair workshop in Goleen in 1995, maybe. If I could go back to all of that, that was a part of my life that I really loved. And I suppose I know I'm going on about this. I'll show you. I should have shown you what's inside in the containers. Tomorrow night, no, it'll be kind of dark. The next day I go on, it'll be bright. I'll show you. God, the amount of stuff is frightening, guys. Because then you see, when I was stuck in the houses and stuff, and doing up DIY and all the rest, I bought more tools and more gear, and I've too much stuff, but at the same time I'm afraid to get rid of it because I might need it, and I'd be red man for keeping bits of wood and stuff and saying that'll be handy, and I don't know. One way or another, no, my shed cannot be, well, I put it this way, when I'm building the house it can be full of clutter and gear and stuff, but once the house is done, which won't be for a few years, there will be huge cleansing then. But now there has to be, I have to let go of so much stuff. I can't take it with me. I have a lot of old scrap pieces of wood and timber and stuff, and sure, Derry Connell have stopped taking that now. Imagine that, the recycling centre that the Cork County Council provide for us, and they won't take wood. Beyond belief. They're telling us to recycle everything. They tried to make, they don't want Maguire and Patterson anymore. They're trying to make them redundant. And now they won't take wood because there's some place apparently, allegedly above in Tipperary that used to take the wood for recycling, and that place there's a mountain of it up there, and they don't want any more. So now they won't take it. And what are you supposed to do with it? I'm sure there's other recycling places that will take it, but Derry Connell is my local one, and it's I go there with everything. The lads are sound there and everything. It's brilliant, but it's not their fault. I'm just saying, but I mean, they stopped taking waste oil, and then now they've stopped taking wood. Sure, I mean, is it a recycle? Do they want us to recycle these products or not? Is what I'm saying. Maguire and Patterson, well, I think, will be back in business fairly shortly in a big way, because people have no other option. Anyway, I'm going to have to sort out the container, and and it's really, the reason I'm talking to you about it now is because it's really bugging me, because I don't really want to throw away much more stuff or give it away, but I said I can't carry it because the shed, you see, isn't that big, and if I I'll show you the shed now in a minute, but if I fill the shed, sure, there's no comfort that I like, a little comfortable workshop. I'm so fucked up in the head. I'd be half thinking to myself, well, you know what, I buy a 20-foot container and put it on the site, Lorto, and put on my shit into it. Oh, because I don't want to get rid of it. I'm sure that'd be crazy. Number one, it's just unsightly, I suppose, and number two, sure there's no need for it. Now is the time. Now is the time. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna park that up now. Eddie's gonna deal with that. Okay, we're gonna deal with it. I've put it out there. I'm gonna deal with it. I'm going to 50% of what I'm carrying is maximum what I can take to the shed, and you know that's gonna be a tough one. But that's the way it's going to be. The other thing, yeah. You see, I put a lot of stuff into auctions there and stuff there in the last year. Stuff that I've been collecting for my own stuff, not stuff that I was trying to sell from the vintage room or anything. This is kind of stuff that I was collecting. And I took a lot of stuff to auction, guys, because I had a lot more than what's there. And it's gone and it's fine, yeah. But me beginning to think I have a little bit of a problem when it comes to hoard. I don't like to say I'm a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder, I'm a collector, okay? Let's get that right. And whatever happens going through my life, I'm going to become minimalistic in my house. Like my little flat now is beautiful. I have everything I need inside there, and I have nothing at the same time. Just everything is perfect, and it's grand, and there's no clutter there. And I never like clutter in my house anyway. I don't mind it outside in the shed or the garage, but I wouldn't be a clutter person in the house. I was thinking there when I was loading the container. That's why I put this thing playing again. The thirst was killing me, and I said, I don't know what way. Do you know the way things that come into your head? And I was kind of half thinking to myself, how did I love Indian food now, right? I love going to Indian restaurants and eating hot food and trying out new things in the menu. And I was thinking to myself, you know, how did I get there? Because I remember back in, so it was about 19, I'm going to go back now, about 1990, I could get my years wrong, but I'd say about 92, or thereabouts. 93, the latest anyway, 92 maybe. I went down I got a job working in Cove on the Cross River Ferry, and I moved down to Cove, and I was staying in a flat, one bedroom flat, upstairs, up over. It was Jim's Cafe. There was a man called, he was Jim O'Rourke, a lovely man, a fierce, nice man. I hope he's still alive and doing well. He had a lovely cafe, Jim's Cafe, and I was staying flats upstairs. I was renting a flat off of Jim. And it was very reasonable as well. From my memory, I think the price of the flat at that time, 1992, was about £44 a week. I had that in my head. And you had one of the meters. Do you remember the meters you put in the coin for the electricity? Sure, it was lovely. It was a lovely, clean little flat. And mine was in the front of the building, overlooking, God save us, Cove Harbour there. Fantastic altogether. When the QE2 came in, a couple of times, and she'd be gone out. She'd dead on his sail, her high water. God save us, was like she was. You could put your hand out and touch her from my window, my flat. Unbelievable to see her and see the ships and the boats going up and down Cork Harbour. But what was I saying? Sorry, but I was thinking, you see all these old things that come into my head, reminiscing. But I went down to Cove. I moved to Cove and I moved out of I was going out with a girl in Goleen at the time, and I suppose I was to spend a lot of time west with her in her house, and then we spent some time in Skull as well. You know the way you'd be between the two houses. Anyway, I got the job. I was just qualified as a mechanic, and I got the job, and I moved down. And I remember my poor mother, you know, she gave me two pots, one kind of a medium-sized pot, I suppose, and one small little pot. A small frying pan. She was making sure I had everything. But she'd be going around the house pulling stuff out of her own stuff, like it was all second hand out of her own kitchen. She gave me 2 knives, 2 forks. I had 1 soup spoon and 2 teaspoons. And 2 small poteens, aluminium poteens. The pots were. Well, sorry, one was a small bit bigger than the other. And two dinner plates, 2 side plates, 2 cups, there were mugs, and that was it. Basically 2 of everything except I had 1 soup spoon. Had I a spoon, had I? I got out and I moved down. You see the flat was unfurnished. I moved down and I bought a mattress and I brought down a bed frame as well. I don't know where I got that. I brought down bits and pieces like that. And then there was a second-hand furniture shop, and I could be wrong with the names, which was above by kind of, we call it Cove Cross. I think it was called Europa Furniture. Christ, I went up there and I got a pilot. I got a second-hand kind of a couch. It was a very uncomfortable fucking thing. Because I think, you know, there was like a timber frame to it and a straight back. You know, one of them old things. And a chair. I don't know, maybe a second-hand small table, and I'd only 2 chairs, and it was just sparse now, right? But there was, right, I moved right on. I was fine and happy. I was always thankfully neat and tidy, and I had a very good sense of, I'd like to think, personal hygiene and stuff, and so there was no issues or problems that way. And brought down my clothes, so you wouldn't have much clothes at the time. Brought down the whole thing and moved in anyway. First I went working the job. It was a fine job. Very happy there, and nice men and nice lads and everything. Made some great friends that I still have to this day. But there was a shop up the road, and I was living right next door to the Super Value shop, but there was another shop up my door. You turn right past the Super Value, and up there kind of in the corner there was a shop, and your man, he used to sell 4 pork chops. I think it was £2. Or a £1 or £2, I can't remember. The wages were good in that job as well. I was making good money for the time. And we used to do 4 days on, 2 days off. That's what you did. And you did mornings and evenings. The morning shift was, I think, the ferry she'd run from, you'd be out in the morning around 6 o'clock or 6:30, and you'd finish at 4. Maybe it was 6 to 4. And 4 then till about 2 in the morning was the second shift. There were long shifts, but it didn't matter. You did 4 on and 2 off, and you got shift rate as well, so you were getting priced. There was good money. It was a union job. There was good money in it. But anyway, you managed to sell 4 pork chops for, was it £1 or £2? And I was doing 4 days on. That's what I'm telling you the story. Only 4 days, and I had my little pots in my pan. And every single day, the 4 days I'd be on, I'd have a pork chop, a couple of spuds, in the other pot, you see. I'd have the small pot in, I'd have peas and that. So I'd have peas, spuds, and fried pork chop. And that was my dinner every day for 4 days. I'm sure I was quite happy with that. I was a creature of habit anyway. I didn't that I was trying to be mean about it, but Christ, you see, the deal for the 4 pork chops, you couldn't pass it, and there was no way I was going to waste them. So I'd have my pork chops and that would be my dinner. And the next thing, then the girl I was going out with, I don't know where she was. See, she used to be up and down, engaged to her at the time, and engaged to be married, and she'd been to a Chinese restaurant somewhere around here. There was a Chinese restaurant open somewhere. What I'm trying to say is, like, there was no Chinese restaurant, a Christian Indian restaurant, unheard of it all, I'd say, around here. I was very basic and simple with my food, like that's what I'm saying. It was just pure basic food. And anyway, she came up one weekend to stay with me, and there's a lot of weekends. I should have 4 days on, and I used to go home for the 2 days a lot of the time, and then sometimes she'd come up. That's the way it would be for the 2 days. And she had Chinese somewhere in Christ, she said it was lovely. So the only time before that I ever had Chinese was go back to about maybe 1986. I was in Cork to the summer of 86, this is my memory now. And we went to U2 or in Park Keeve, and on the Saturday and on the Sunday you would Sheamus at Cushlee, and there was Chris Christopherson, Status Quo and the Pogues in Sheamus at Cushlee. So like you had U2, Chris Christopherson and the Pogues and Status Quo all in one weekend. Christ, that was we were only 16. What a mighty weekend. We went up with Georgie Norris and Georgie had a Ford Escort, a Mark II Escort. She was red with a black vinyl roof. She was 1980 for she had the square lamps in the front. Anybody that knows their Escorts know what I'm talking about. She was the last of the Mark IIs nearly. God, she was a grand car. 413 KIF was the reg of her. And the five of us went up. There was myself and Georgie. This is from my memory now, and I could be wrong with the names, but there was actually myself and Georgie, and there was Dennis Murphy and Morris Quinlan. Oh no, I'd say Dennis Murphy, Sean Lennon and Christy O'Mara, I'd say. I don't know, was Morris there or not, but old Christy's gone away from us. God help us. We went up, and we used to sleep in the car, the five of us. We went up, I don't know the long story about that, but we went up on the Friday night. We slept, we got no bed and breakfast right the Friday night, but we got thrown out of that, so we went Saturday night, and Sunday, we said Sunday night as well, we slept in the car. God, it was tough. But out there in the quays outside the Metropole Hotel, and all we were hoping was that some fella would get a woman, because if one fella got a woman, it didn't mean to be more room in the car that he'd go out to a woman. But we didn't manage that in all that weekend. We did that a few weekends in the rows of Tralee Crash. We'd be lucky because fellas get women and there'd be more room in the car for the fellas that didn't have that didn't get the women. But where was I? What was I on about? Oh yeah, but we met Mark Murphy, poor old Mark. I missed Christ, I haven't seen Mark in years. We met Mark above in Cork. Mark was Cork City fella, say. He knew the city well. And Mark was mad on about a Chinese that was there in Patrick Street or somewhere, I think it was upstairs. And I can't remember the name of it, but he was a city boy, he was well cultured in the food department. He'd tried them all because they were there around the city, you see. And he was on about the chips and sweet and sour sauce anyway. So, fuck it, sure we knew that we wanted to go and get a burger and chips somewhere. I can't even say it. When I was 16, had I ever even eaten a McDonald's, but we wanted to go and get it. There was Burgerland in Cork at the time, that's where we'd be going. But anyway, Mark talked us into going to this Chinese place to get this chips and the sweet and sour sauce. He said, Christ almighty. So, we went in there, and remember, we all queued up and we got it, and God almighty, we couldn't have ate it at all. We thought it was awful. Oh, Jesus Christ. Destroyed the fine chips. So, anyway, when my girlfriend came up to Cove, anyway, and then fast forward, like this was 90 years later, 92 or 3, she said she had a Chinese, she said, God, it was lovely. She'd been for Chinese, I think it was Chinese in Bandon or somewhere, she'd been somewhere. So, and she had heard that there was a Chinese in Middleton. Now you see, that time there was no internet or nothing, you couldn't look up anything, you went to just everything was kind of word of mouth, if you like. Or an advertisement in a newspaper or something. So anyway, she talked me into going to Middleton and we got a takeaway Chinese, and the only thing I'd eat was that I'd try would be, I said I'd try chicken curry. So we got a chicken curry and she got spring rolls and everything. We brought it back to the flat, and God save us, lads, it was fucking gorgeous. It was the finest chicken curry I ever ate in my mind that night. And of course I remember my father, I used to always be on about no, sorry, it's a Dean, he used to be on about, but so the next thing, then we got addicted to the Chinese, and every weekend she'd come up, we'd head for Middleton and we get the Chinese, and the next, I branched out, then she got me interested in the spring rolls as well, so I said the spring rolls and the chicken curry. That's as far as I went, which was very, very tasty. And the next thing then, right across, it was like a Carlsberg ad, right across from my flat, I could see it, there was a little hut there in the square in Cove. There was a little hut where they used to sell tickets long ago, God help us, and people going off on the coffin ships to America. and there was a kind of a hut, and the hut was there. It was there still. It was whatever you call it. It was obviously you couldn't knock it down. It was part of the history of the town. And inside in that little hut, Christian, a little Chinaman, open up a Chinese restaurant, takeaway. Jesus, it was ideal. I was only about 10 steps from my front door. So the next thing, the pork chops I forgot about. And even when my girlfriend wasn't up, I used to get fits. I'd go over and get the chicken curry off your man. God, he used to make a grand chicken curry. It was absolutely outstanding. And the fried rice. So that was me. The next thing I became a Chinese connoisseur because I was well cultured and travelled in. So I kind of stuck with the Chinese then. So I moved out of Cove then, and we came back home, and we used to see it that often then. But if I was in the way of it, I'd always have a Chinese. And then years later, I started, of course, fast forward years and years later, then I got married to a different woman years later, and I remember we were outside in Spain one time, and I'd never had Indian food. I was still kind of stuck my ways. I was stuck in the Chinese. I thought the Chinaman was the one. And we were out on a holiday outside in Spain or somewhere. It could have been our honeymoon, I can't remember. And there was an Indian restaurant across the way. So I said, you know what we'll do? Will we go in and try the Indian food? Because my father used to always be on about back in the 50s when he was sailing out to Cardiff and these places in the British Merchant Navy. He used to be on about, of course, this is a man that had come from Hare Island, and all of a sudden, my father travelled the world, and it opened his eyes and his mind to him. He used to be on about the chicken madras. He used to love the madras curry, the Indian curry. So I went in anyway. We went into the Indian, and I didn't know what to order, and I had a korma. And Jesus Christ, lads, it was absolutely disgusting. Oh my dear God, it was the worst. Oh, it was absolutely horrible. And that turned me off Indian for a long, long time. I never again I said that Indian food is pure nothing. God, Jesus, tripe. And years and years later, I left to fast forward, not so nearly to Skull, but I used to be back and forth to England with Pat Coakley, my old friend Paddy, and Christ Pat says to me one day, he used to be on to me, but he loved Indian food. He was mad for Indian food. And I said, no, I wouldn't touch that stuff. I said, I'd go for Chinese, because when I go over to England, I have the Chinese. And he didn't really like Chinese, so we made a deal anyway that we went over one time to collect a car. And we made a deal that we go over this time and we have an Indian. And the next time we go, we'd have a Chinese. So he says, fair enough. So I remember we flew into Liverpool and we collected a car. It was a red Renault Clio with a sunroof. And I know she was running 1.2 petrol engines. And it was the evening time, coming on dark in the winter time. God save us Christ, the rain was unbelievable. And we were sailing out of Pembroke the next day. And I had a hotel booked through booking.com in some small town on the way down. Jesus Christ, the rain was ferocious all the way down. I never forget it. And how narrow, windy old roads. We were using old sat-nav and just taking us up over mountains and everything. And then we landed in the town, and the hotel, just as when we arrived, we didn't get there till 9 o'clock, I suppose, at night. It was a small family-run hotel, lovely little hotel. But when they finished serving food, and there was nothing else in the town, it was only a small village. And I said to the woman, "Are we bought Ash behind the bar? Where would we get food for? We were starving." And she said, "The only place you get food here," she said, "is there's an Indian restaurant up and down the road." Oh, sweet Jesus, says I. So down we went anyway, against my will. And God save us anyway. I went in and I didn't even know what to order. And another thing, I used to like white wine. I never drank red wine. Never really took to it. I was a white wine man. And Betty was red wine. We couldn't have been more opposite. So I didn't really care about the wine anyway. Betty was going through the wine list and he wanted to pick red wine, so I said, work away. and I didn't know what to order off the Indian food, but I wasn't going having a korma again. So I ordered something off the specials, chef recommendations or house special or something. I don't know what it was. There's chicken anyway. I'm not a big lamb eater, you see. And then boys don't do beef at all, so I don't like the chicken. I like chicken, so Christ lads, it came out with pillow rice, was Paddy was calling what the rice should be, and a garlic naan bread. God saves, it came out. It came out sizzling on a thing, not on a plate, on a charcoal thing. God almighty, lads, it was absolutely gorgeous. The sauce, everything about it. I still remember it to this day. It was the turning point for me in my life. It was absolutely freaking gorgeous. The finest meal I ever had, I'd say. And I can't even remember what it was. It was somehow special. And then that changed my mind completely and utterly. And even drinking with the red wine. Christ, it was lovely with the red wine. The red wine was lovely with it, whatever you want to call it. And there and then after that, we went back. I couldn't stop talking about it. We went back then maybe a few weeks later for another car, and we came down and we were in Swansea for the night. And Paddy says to me, he says, fair enough, he said, we go, you turn out, he said, we go to a Chinese restaurant. I said, we'll forget about the Chinese. I said, we'll find a nice Indian restaurant. And from that day to this, I'll still have the odd Chinese. But God, I love Indian food. And myself and Paddy especially, we've eaten in hundreds of Indian restaurants. And I've tried everything on the menu and more besides. And I love my Indian food. And I suppose, and my red wine, Christ, I love my red wine. I don't drink white wine anymore. I don't like the taste of it at all. It's so strange, isn't it? And I suppose the moral of the story is, for me anyway, and for you as well now, don't ever be afraid of change. Don't ever be afraid of trying something that is completely and utterly outside of your comfort zone. Don't live your life with the blinkers on, you know, like the horse with the blinkers, inside in a box, you know, thinking that you don't, that you've seen, that you're happy and content with what you have, and that don't ever be, you know, convinced, don't ever have yourself convinced, I don't like Indian food, I don't like Chinese food, I don't like Thai food, I don't like anything, I don't like this, I don't like that, I wouldn't eat that old shit or that right. And that goes across for everything in life, to be saying, I wouldn't like this, I wouldn't like to do that, I wouldn't, Christ, I'd have no interest in this. Don't ever live your life like that, because it's not the way, is what I'm saying. And it's don't, because you know your life is, you've only one life, and it's don't waste it. Would be narrow-mindedness, you know. That's my point, I suppose. It opened my eyes for me in a way like that. Those kind of things define things for me. That, of course, I'd try anything now. I wouldn't care what it was. Well, I mean, I'm still conservative in some ways, like, and there are still things that I know that I wouldn't enjoy, like, but like when it comes to most things, I would never say never anyway. And yeah, and those things kind of, I've had some of the best experiences in my life now because of those things. And this is going back to like a 22-year-old man that went down to Cove that used to have a pork chop, a few spuds, a few potatoes and a few peas every day for his dinner. And I was happy and content with that, but now there's a lot more to life now, you know. And I have all the signs of it. I've swelled out from eating. I have all the signs of it. That's my stopping for it now. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm on my way to, you know what, it's nearly easier for me now rather than joining videos and stuff, because I could put on this one video. I'll leave the camera rolling, I suppose. We're only about 2 minutes away from the shed. my site, and I suppose if I leave it running there now, I can, if you hang with me there now for a couple of minutes, I'll pull in and I'll show you the shed, and then we can I'll ring the electrician now next. Just give German a hand a ring, because I need to try and get it wired up now and stuff. So I'll do that when I get west. I don't know what time did it. I think we made good time enough anyway. 10 past 10. We'll be offloaded. I'll be back in Skull. I'll have a cup of tea. And I'll be stuck into what I have to do in Barneston for 11 o'clock, and that's a good sign and a good time. Just going to the funeral there later, but that's, God help us, that's only up the road. It won't take too long. That's the things now. Yeah, I get a good bit of work done there in Barnes later. That's my story. I'll have a handy dinner now this evening. Crikey, we had a Grand Indian last night. Very, very tasty. Else. I know I keep saying it, but I do need to pull back from the table a bit, because I can see my shed from here. It says looking well. Woohoo! Looking good. You know, I'm very happy with this now. Very happy. It's gonna be my little fix the board. Stone entrance. I'll do an old video on that now some other day for everybody. I'll just do a few more jobs, and my foundations are in and everything. There's an awful lot of positives in my life. There is, and I can tell you there will be brighter days ahead. They won't always stay raining on the Kellys, and that's for sure. Right. This wasn't kind of close enough my way. Yeah. Right, let's do this while the camera's still rolling, then that way it'll save me from second there now. When I do this, we'll camera around. That makes sense? It will. I'm going to put my hand there. I can get the keys of the said shed. I won't stay long just now if it's raining, guys. There we are, and like I say, a big shout out to A1 Sheds in Bishopstown in Cork. Aidan is the man I was put up the shed with, the men working with him, and Jordan is the girl or lady in the, I think she's his daughter, I'm not sure, in the office. Brilliant people, I'm so happy. I had a lovely experience with those guys, and that's my little shed now, and do you know what, I'm up and running again. I was down. It was in a bad way, but this now will be a great help to me. Oh, right here a second here now. I suppose I'll have to get something for the door now and stuff. We'll figure all that out as we go along. Right, look at this, look. I have a roof over my head. Christ, I have a grand shed. Fine, this is a serious shed. Lovely roller door to the front. There's a window here in the back, because there's going to be a pipe there. I'll build a stud here. Small stud, and there'll be a little toilet here in the back corner, and Jesus, that's brilliant. Right, let you go on away now, because I've work to do. You see, we brought in the hockey stick there. The power will come in here, and hockey stick there, and that's gone all the way down to the concrete post there. Let's get the electricity. Oh, lads, there's some amount of work to it. But anyway, we get all that done too. That day'll happen too. One of these days. Right, let you go on away, because I've work to do, and we'll talk again later.